That's where our boys were. So where's your next trip going to be?
We're going to start.
August 2nd, common council meeting to order. Second, will you please take the roll?
Davis.
Here.
Lampy.
Here.
Ritten.
Here.
Bartz.
Here.
Lick.
Here.
Smith.
Here.
Schmid.
Here.
Wetzel. Ronline.
And if you would please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, the first item on our agenda is the minutes of the council meeting for July 19th. Does anyone have any comments or questions on those minutes? Mr. Litt?
It doesn't have me present or absent, but I was present because of the minutes as my name indicators.
Thank you.
I was there.
We'll make that adjustment. Anybody else on these? Great. Our next item is comments and suggestions from citizens present. Before I invite anyone up to comment, I just want to be transparent. Going forward, we have instituted a 3-minute time limit for comments. You'll see that at our city council meetings and that at our committee meetings as well. So with that, would anyone like to comment? If so, go ahead and go to the microphone, state your name and address.
Philip Bratz.
Hi, I'm Philip Bratz, 1306 South 3rd Street, Watertown. I'd like to comment on the Pride in the Park event. I think you all have egg on your face. I hope you're not overly offended by that comment, but I do. I think you felt that you probably had to, by law, issue the permit, but you dragged the process out to the point where it made it difficult for the people that were organizing it to put things together, promote it, organize it, what have you. Secondly, it was confined to an extremely small area, caged in. I thought it was way too tight, but that's my opinion. I think that you did everything, this is my third point, I think you did everything to prevent access to the event. What were the big barriers at all the streets leading anywhere near the park? No parking, road closed, blah, blah, you know? And these barriers were half out in the road, a third of the way out in the road. You didn't know if you could drive down there or not. If I do drive down there, am I gonna risk getting a ticket for operating where I'm not supposed to be? And what happened to the parking? Close off all the big parking lots? That's insane. It's ridiculous. And then we had a police force down there. I mean, I didn't see a donut truck. All I saw was large groups of policemen from varying agencies. Any observer that would drive by there and see that, they're going to think to themselves, hey, this is not where I want to be. Something's going on here, or is about to. So I think you guys handled it really poorly, and I'm sorry to lay that on you, but as a casual observer, that's what I saw. Now, I was able to park because I happen to have a handicap parking permit. So there was about maybe 9 cars in that great big parking lot that were able to park there. I mean, it seemed to me like it was something that was, you torpedoed it. That's all I can say. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Do you have anyone else, Mark?
No.
Okay. We do have another opportunity at the end of our meeting for public comment. So let's go to reports. All that you have this evening is the Public Works Commission from July 26th. Does anyone have any comments or questions on those?
I have a question?
Are you not on there? No, I'm just.
No, I'm not on that committee. Thank the
That's-
Lord. So I read it like twice, and I think I figured out what the leaf collection process is going to be this fall, but I would like somebody just to kind of clarify it maybe for me, so I'm sure I have it right. So I don't know who would be the person to do that. but-
I mean, I can do it, but I wasn't there. I just know.
I was at the committee, Bart's was too. So, last year, the city implemented a pilot program for leaf pickup, asking folks to bag their leaves, large paper bags, and then the city will come with a waste truck and haul them away that way. City has 4 leaf suckers. They're never all operational at one time. Usually about 2 of the 4 are broken down, and it's hard to repair, and they're expensive. There's one point last year where they're all 4 broken down at the same time, and that's because folks throw not just leaves in their pile that they rake to the curb, but other things too, and that you don't know until you suck them up, and it damages the leaf suckers, and then you gotta fix them. So this year, they want to continue last year's pilot program, is trying to get the word out there, like, hey, we want to do more leaf pickup in bags. The hope was that the leaf pickup program will stay more on schedule, because currently it's broken down into 4 quadrants, and you throw the leaf suckers out there in the first quadrant, and then they break down, and then they get behind schedule, and by the time quadrant 3 is ready for their pickup, they're finishing quadrant 1. So
So we're doing bags and
we're still
Leaf sucking.
doing a leaf sucking this year too, just an extension of last year's pilot program. But we're gonna try to educate more people and get more buy-in and have more people do it.
So there's going to be a transition.
We're in a transition period now, yes.
And even if we transition, what I've been telling people that are concerned about physical limitations on bagging leaves, it is the same that we have for solid waste. You know, a lot of people were concerned about having to pull the heavy cart out to the curb. We do have like an exception list for people who can't take their cart out to the curb. We would have something similar for the disabled population or the elderly population to ensure that we had a way to pick up their leaves as well. And Jane Ellen has been consistent about that since we started talking about this last year. The long and short is our MS4 permit. Is Andrew still here? Stop me if I'm wrong, but our MS4 permit requirements are creeping up on us very quickly. We've had them for nearly a decade, the awareness of what they would be, and the day is coming where we're gonna have to be compliant or we'll suffer some consequences from the DNR. We have more, which you guys hear me talk about all the time, we have more compliance requirements and no additional money in most cases to do them with the same amount of workforce. So we have to find areas where we can free up our existing staff to be available to do other work and to just be more efficient in the work that they're doing. So, did someone else have something? Yeah.
Just, do we know, Chris, you mentioned that our equipment's being damaged from foreign debris. Do we have any indication of the consistency of the types of debris or the routes that it's on to help narrow it down? Is it like sticks or is it like bottles, rocks? Do we have any indicator what it is?
Jane Ellen at the meeting mentioned that, sticks, rocks, various debris. I don't know if there's consistency, Andrew, with specific areas of town,
I don't-
or if you can even isolate where you suck it up and when the damage happens. That wasn't discussed.
Okay, just a curiosity.
I think the take-home message is it's the same as last year. And I think they're gonna use stormwater, it was my understanding, use stormwater to provide bags as well for people like we did last year. Just a continual kind of progressive step towards encouraging people to bag leaves.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Mr. Lampy.
I had 2 here. First, I guess, is could you provide some more information in terms of what the MS4 permit is and what it's driving us toward?
Yeah, so it's, the long and short, it's a water quality kind of a thing. And by doing the leaf pickup with the bags, that, I believe, helps us lower our
Phosphorus.
Thank you, phosphorus counts that run off into the river that, because part of our MS4 permit is phosphorus reduction, and so this will help towards that.
Yeah, so the state regulates the water that falls out of the sky and how well we clean it before it goes back into Mother Nature. And there are many, many components, everything from ponds to street sweeping to leaf pickup, to our inlets and our culverts. I mean, there's many, many components that contribute to our compliance of phosphorus reduction and the amount that we put back into the Rock River. And the Rock River is a distressed waterway, so we are limited to our total maximum daily load of what we can put back into the Rock River. And we have neighbors in our watershed that contribute to that, and municipalities are largely responsible for cleaning it with no additional money to do so. Or do they give us money? I don't think, yeah, it's a hard no.
That was question one. Thank you. Number two was with regard to the fine that's mentioned in here. Do we have the structure in place to assess that?
I don't know the answer to that one.
What was the question
The
again?
fine structure?
There's mention of a fine potentially to
Future tense,
future tense.
yes.
So in the future tense, is that something that we have current structure to enable, or is that something that we have to pass back through this body?
Anytime we assess a fine, it would come back to a governing body if it's new. And I don't know that there's an existing one in place right now, not that I'm aware of. I guess I haven't looked at the bond schedule lately to know for sure, but I'm unaware of one, so it would come back through a governing body if we were to set a fine or forfeiture.
Thank you.
Good questions. Any other questions on the minutes? Look at you guys reading the Public Works minutes. That has to make Alderperson Wetzel feel very good. Yes, Mr. Smith?
It indicates that you're going to be moving from a first-year 500 bag purchase to a second-year 1,000 bag purchase. Are those available to citizens that want to go in the direction of bagging their leaves? Are they available free, or is there a cost associated with that?
Last year we did them for free in this.
Yeah, the city last year bought 500 bags. This year we're going to buy 1,000. They're about $1 a piece. We can get them from Menards, but the city's talked to Farm and Fleet, Ace, Menards, I think a fourth retailer that would also deal in bags too. You can get them anywhere. They're pretty cheap, about $1 a piece. This year we're going to, I think, take $1,000 out of stormwater and make them available. Last year, we had them available at the yard waste site on Wednesdays and Saturdays for people to pick up. And I think we had them at City Hall too,
And the street department.
and the street department.
So until the 1,000 bags run out, people that want to move in that direction will be able to pick them up free?
Yes.
Yeah, we've asked Farm and Fleet and Ace Hardware to stock up because we want to transition towards that, so they are aware.
Any other questions? Yes.
So they mentioned the potential future tense of a fee penalty, however you want to call it. What would that be for? A non-compliance in regards to what? Not leaking their light leaves and bagging them versus composting them or just leaving them sit in their yard?
The minutes say it would be for people who rake them into the street,
Okay.
or at the curb street, I suppose. That's all it says in the minutes.
And I wasn't at the meeting, so you two can stop me. I've never had a conversation about such a fee. I suspect Mr. Bartz asked a question. Jane Allen thought we could probably do something like that if you want us to.
Yeah, I
that
just
kind of-
mentioned that people were still raking them into the street, which is one thing we don't want to do with the stormwater runoff. That impacts it directly, so.
So is there any more concerted conversation around that, Andrew, or was it just that?
It was just that leaves are very high in phosphorus, so once they're in the curb line and they start dissolving, we don't want that phosphorus getting to the river.
I don't
Okay.
think that was a very hearty conversation, or because no
Okay.
one's talked to me about it.
That's good. I'm just curious because we already got statutes on the books that say you can't blow your glass clippings in the road because it becomes a safety hazard. And for similar reasons, and yet people still do it. So I'm wondering, and that's a DOT thing. If they're ignoring that one, how much more are they going to ignore a local one? So,
Might be a tough one to prove, too.
yeah.
We'll cross that bridge if we get there.
Okay.
Any other questions on these minutes? Great. Okay, our next item then is communications and recommendations. Our only item is an update on the town square. Alex is attending remotely if you guys have questions on the memo in the packet. All right.
I got one question that just, looks like in general, Alex, we're kind of staying on schedule, and can you give us an updated completion date?
Yeah, so we are staying on schedule. There's been a little bit of fluctuation with the utility companies, in particular AT&T, but it hasn't been anything substantial for delays. So we're still shooting for October for a completion point, and I will mention too that we are essentially at the 50% mark for the project, so that's exciting, both financially and progress-wise.
Other questions for Alex? All right, thanks, Alex. All right, our next item is the accounts payable. Before I ask for a motion, and Mr. Romline's not here, so someone's going to have to step up on this one. There is also an accounts payable sitting in front of you, and I'm going to go to Mark just to provide a little context, so you all know what you're making a motion to approve on. Potentially.
You have the standard accounts payable invoices in front of you. Because of last-minute work on those that are volunteering to help with Riverfest, I got a bunch of paperwork in last night and into the system this morning, so hot off the press are all of these bills that are on paper in front of you, totaling approximately $93,000, all relating to Riverfest. And all of these entertainers and the like to do their gig and walk out with a check in hand. So that's why this is an add-on for things that walked into the office over the weekend through yesterday.
All right, with that, a motion.
I'd make a motion that we pay the accounts payable.
Motion by Smith, seconded by Licht. I'm going to just hit, actually, yeah. Any questions or comments on the accounts? Megan?
Smith,
Aye.
Schmidt,
Aye.
Davis. Aye. Lampy,
Aye.
Ritten,
Aye.
Bartz.
Aye.
Lick.
Aye.
Motion passed 7-0.
All right, very good. Our next item then is miscellaneous business. We have the payroll summary from June 15th to June 28th, and also from June 29th to July 12th. Does anyone have any comments or questions on that one? All right, let's go to ordinances then. Our only one this evening is ordinance 22-64. This is an ordinance to create section 500-6, parent A, parent 10, 2-hour parking from 8 to 3. This is here from Alderman Smith and Public Safety and Welfare.
I would move for approval of our first reading of proposed ordinance 22-64.
Is there a second to that? Second by Schmidt. I assume this is the first reading, it's not on the agenda.
We're going to have to.
Adjust that? Okay. We implemented a new packet making software, so we're working through a few bugs. So we'll make that adjustment. Okay, is there any questions or comments on this ordinance? All right, Megan?
Smith,
Aye.
Schmidt,
Aye.
Davis. Aye. Lampy,
Aye.
Ritten,
Aye.
Bartz.
Aye.
Lick.
Aye.
Motion passed 7-0.
All right, very good. Let's go to resolutions. Our first is Exhibit 9408. This is a resolution to add the position of Deputy Treasurer Clerk to our payroll resolution. This is here from me and the Finance Committee, and at our last meeting, we tabled this item, so I would first be looking for a motion to remove this item from the table. Thank
I'll
you.
make that motion.
Motion by Schmidt, second by Britton. All right, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? All right, and now we have, the motion is off the table, and that motion at our last meeting was made by Mr. Ritten. We tabled that originally because we had a discrepancy with the grade. So the item that you still have in your packet has that original grade, and the adjustment would need to be changing the grade from I, which was the original one, to the one that's in your packet now, which is K. So Mr. Ritten, you made that motion
I would
originally.
like to make a motion to amend my motion to reflect the grade from I to K.
All right. Motion by Ritten, second by Lampy. Discussion. So for awareness, this is a accounting clerk position now that we're reclassifying into the deputy clerk or deputy treasurer clerk. Additional questions or comments from anybody?
So it's not adding position, it's just simply basically retitling,
Reclassifying one. Yes.
reclassifying one?
So it does have increased responsibilities, and obviously that's reflected in the grade that's being provided. So an accounting clerk now, I just looked it up for Mr. Smith, I think is G, grade G,
Yes.
and this will go to grade K. So there's because it's a reclassification to greater responsibility, obviously the reclassified position would warrant moving the grade up.
And this is all funded without increase to our budget?
For this year, correct, because
So-
we have vacancies
Vacancy.
this year. So next year, we would have to have the increase from grade G
G to K.
to K.
So we have to fund the money in the future somewhere?
We will.
Okay.
Yep. And this one, for awareness, is important for us, really operationally, and in my opinion, statutorily too. Someone who can serve as both a treasurer and sign checks in the event that Mark is unable to, or someone that can run an election as an example in case Megan. And I did work here when we ran an election without a clerk, and it was rough. So we did it well, but it was still a lot of responsibility to put on our deputy clerk, and we were thankful that we had one then. Right now, we don't have one, so it's important for us to move back this direction. And then Mr. Romline is joined virtually, if you want to reflect that in the minutes. Mr. Romline, we are on Exhibit 9408. Any other questions? Megan?
Britton?
Aye.
Bartz?
Aye.
Lick?
Aye.
Smith?
Aye.
Schmidt?
Aye.
Romling?
I would go. We can come back.
Davis? Aye. Lampy?
Aye.
Mr. Romline, did you want to vote on 9408?
On the amendment?
I'll see if he responds first. It doesn't look like he's quite there yet, just on sound wise. Okay, let's go to our next then. That is Exhibit 9413.
Mayor?
Excuse me?
We just voted on the amendment, right?
We voted on passing an amended version, or just the amendment.
The way the motion was phrased was to vote on the amendment.
So you can.
So now we have,
So
now we need to vote on the whole item. Okay,
I'll make a motion to approve the exhibit as amended.
thanks for stopping me. Motion by Ritten, second by Lick. All the discussion for the last item is still applicable here, but does anyone have any questions or comments? You have them for me?
I think when we took it off the table and amended it, it's already on the floor. So I don't think we need a motion to bring it to the floor, but I guess we'll be sure we're voting on a motion on the floor.
I'll take it. Go for it.
Britton?
Aye.
Bartz?
Aye.
Lick? Smith?
Aye.
Schmidt?
Aye.
Romling?
Mr. Romline?
Davis?
Aye.
Lampy?
Aye.
Motion passed 7-0.
All right, let's go to Exhibit 9413. This is a resolution to award the seawall demolition project contract for 112 South First Street to Yankee General Contractors for $73,760. This is here from me and the Finance Committee.
I'll make a motion to approve exhibit 9413.
Motion by Ritten, second by Bartz. We just took up this item at a special Finance Committee meeting right before this meeting, and it was because we just received bids back and we wanted to get things approved and worked on and scheduled, frankly, as efficiently as we could.
So is this the big giant hole in the wall now with all the rocks on it, or is this another section of it?
This is the big giant hole.
Where the pavilion used to be, where you did the boardwalk, where you ran it from
Yes,
Main Street all the way down? So it's that
Correct.
section we're talking about?
correct. So this will, last year we replaced some bins in the seawall that were bulging into the river right by the plaza and the Riverwalk. This is the remaining bins, and then finishing out the river to make a natural embankment.
So it's not going to look as bad as it does now with just the big giant rocks?
There will be additional large giant rocks, railing, and which is quartzite, very beautiful rock, and additional rocks, a railing, and what I call a sidewalk, but an engineer would probably call it a path or a ramp that will go from the river walk up on Main Street. And then that fencing will get removed off the front of Main Street.
Okay.
Okay, that was my question. Would this actually open that walkway?
Yes. Yeah, and so the reason we have it closed right now is just frankly a safety one. It's quite a steep drop, so we want to make sure the railing gets up there. We're not going to put up the railing until the project's finished. Yes. Shalinki.
Beyond this, is there anything else that's coming back in front of the council for this section?
The railing, I don't think is going to be, I shouldn't speak, is the railing that expensive that it would come back before the council? Likely not. And right now, engineering did the design of the ramp. Last I discussed it, we were talking about if we could do the concrete work in-house, and it was leaning towards likely not. You can come, depending upon the cost of that, is really if it would get in front of you all or not. Those are the two other remaining items, though, the railing and the concrete work for the path.
We'll be seeking bids for the concrete ramp, so depending where those cost thresholds come in, it may come before the council. On the railing, we're unsure of what that number is going to be because they have to be cast versus something off the shelf at a Menards. It's a WSDOT product, so it has to go to a foundry to get manufactured. But we'll know more once we seek these quotes.
Thank you. Other questions?
No, I was just curious on where we're at in the process because it doesn't have a good eye and feel at all right now, so.
Yeah, I mean, it's been difficult to secure contractors, not to secure them, but to get into their schedule.
Right.
And then the holdup for this one, and just for awareness, so Yankee did this work for us before. It would have been a project that we would have approved, but we had to get, and Andrew shared this earlier, hydraulic and hydrologic study done because we were working in the floodplain. So we had to get that study done, get FEMA to approve it. That has happened, and so now we'll finish up the work. I think it'll look quite nice. The difficulty that we've had, and some of you have heard me say this, is the seawalls are very difficult for us to maintain. Natural embankments are much more friendly to the maintenance activity and equipment that we have, and more cost effective. Other questions? Again.
Witten?
Aye.
Clark?
Aye.
Lick?
Aye.
Smith?
Aye.
Schmidt?
Aye.
Romley?
Aye.
Davis?
Aye.
Nampi?
Aye.
Motion passed 8-0.
All right, very good. We are at the portion of our agenda where we can have comments and suggestions from citizens present. If anyone would like to comment? All right, with that, I would look for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Schmidt, seconded by Ron. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? All right, thank you, everybody. We're adjourned.